to an entrepreneur and now a publicly listed company success story on his own. So thank you, Franco, for coming over. And we would now like to welcome our moderator, Mr. Joshua Camba. Mr. Camba is a veteran investment banker with over 48 years of experience in the field. For the open discussion, there are microphones on the floor for your use in directing questions to our speakers. Sharephil trustee Romy David is Romy here. Yeah, okay. We'll make sure that the open discussion is in order. Please be brief in asking your questions and refrain from making a speech. We are now ready for your questions. Take it away, Josh.
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. First request from the moderator, please put down all your cell phones. Or turn it on silent. Anyways, I think it is a very good presentation, and more than anything else, I've been listening to Joshua for quite some time now. He was also our Phoenix CFO of the year, and it's always a learning experience to listen to him. So firstly, I think you have somebody will start off the questioning, but there are certain things that you have to know. I was rather close with, in the past, with Alvin, Lau, and Lorraine, and you must know that the IPO of D&L was done on December 12, 2012. So those of you who are familiar with that's critical. Also, to tell you that a very simple investment guideline I learned from the father of Alvin. When D&L was floated at 430, in 5 years' time it went up to even 23. So at one time we had a meeting, he said, George, for it to go double, very simple. For it to go double, it has got to go to 43. So for 43 to double, it's got to go 86. What do? I said, we do a stock split. But Alvin did better. They had enough retained earnings, and they declared 100% stock dividend. So it went down to 10. So you don't know that when you're buying at 10, it's actually 20. Yeah. So you can continue to buy at 10 before we do another stock split. And they do another stock split. Okay, I see somebody who stood up there for the first question. Is that you, Romy? Go ahead.
No, the floor is now open for questions, actually. But maybe to give the opportunity to the reactors to also to comment first before we go to the open forum. If you may. Basically, I think we saw here a significant shift, and I think one thing for sure, we saw that professionalizing the organization was one of the key points that was brought up. Maybe we can hear from the reactors how they view the efforts of the various.
Would you like to do it according to age or north to south? So maybe Ed, maybe you just start.
Romy, what did you want?
No, because the common thread amongst all the transition presentations was that from a more informal to a more professionalized organization. So for many, that's kind of a stress point. Maybe we can hear from the reactors how they manage that point, or they would consider
Okay, in my case, I guess as a reactor, I've had the luxury of working with the the companies of the 3%ers anyway. My experience, at least my insight, is that, of course, they have great presentations, but there really were two stress levels. The first stress level is when you're doing the IPO. It happened with, no, in fact, it happened with these five, not just these three, because I worked with also with Bonds and with Franco. But the first stress they have is when if they have to decide, they have to convince themselves, diba? That's something that the owner or the principal, the chairman has to decide, has to convince, discuss with the children. Sometimes it's the children who wants it, sometimes it's the father or the mother. So that's the first stress. Once they finally decide to do that, the second stressor also really is that, frankly, let's say in their case, they're still running their businesses. But you have to do now, you have to have a work team to do the IPO, and that can take any time between 3 months to 2 years, depending on the housekeeping. So they have to keep their eye on the ball, and yet they have to deliver their business, grow their targets, and then they have to work on this IPO, which is taking so much time. And then as I think one of the things that I got from their presentations was that once you do the IPO, the work is not done. It's actually just the start, because that's when they have to deliver on the results, they have to do active IR, and Alvin and Lorraine talked about how good they are, and even John talked about team having to go once a year around the world. So you rack up the mileage points, but it's very tiring, I'm sure. But that's where the challenge is also now bringing in the professionals, and now managing the business, but managing investor expectations. So that's the challenge. There are many stress points, and maybe later on, it would be interesting to find out from them, which of these three or even more stress points in their careers of their companies were the hardest to manage and how they're managing that. But that's my initial reaction so far. Maybe I'll pass the floor to.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Yes, it was mentioned that my father had a different track. He started started the corporate world, learned a lot from Ayala. For him, his 50 was like his equivalent of a 30-year-old. But he brought that professionalism with him and into his entrepreneurial venture in his 50s. He started his company in 2003, and then IPO just 14 years into the company. And I guess what was very important was the founder was very open-minded to the next generation. So it was the next generation bringing in all these new ideas and practices, which I feel was very important. And so I smiled very hard when Mr. Joe said from 1 seat to 6 seats. Ours also, 1 soberano to 6 soberanos. Helps a lot. And all of us were trained by very entrepreneurial parents, so we brought that work ethic, that professionalism to the company, and we had to earn our position in the company.
Yeah, hi. I think the story is actually very similar, at least for D&L Wenceslao, for us and with Alvin and Ben and even with Campos. So my generation is actually the 3rd generation. But that being said, even though we're the 3rd generation, this is the time that we actually saw that there was going to be an immense, or we could foresee that there was going to be growth for the company. And considering that, from my grandfather to my dad, to me and my 4 siblings, to the next 11, 4th generation, we wanted basically to make sure that the succession in the corporate governance was there. Obviously, I think I talked a little bit with Jose, So we were talking about the timing and everything. Actually, we were, because people have asked me why we were still going in this market. But at least for us, when we were going through this process, we had no idea that the market was going to go in this way. But at the same time, we were very confident at the value that we left on the table, and that's still our position right now. Obviously, it's a bit bittersweet because, as you know, the markets went down further. Actually, we were joking, it was a week after the listing. It was actually my father's 75th birthday, and we were joking, baka walang pumunta. But obviously, it's
something that we go into this process. It's something that we take seriously as a family and as a company. And moving forward, we're still confident about the value that we're giving to the shareholders.
There are many families, family business still around that are on the verge of making that decision. What was the key stress point? Because to give up a proprietary type management and shift to a professional group of people is a major shift for many, many people. Was it difficult, or what were the key motivators to get you to look at having an IPO, which I think your major investors would like to see a more professionalized management team?
You want to take a cut that, Alvin? May I just request the slides, because they're blinding me. In 2 minutes, I will not be able to see anymore. Can you have that shifted to have
Okay,
it?
ano lang yung ilaw.
Or turn it off? Okay, good. Now I can see all of you. Thank you.
So for us, the decision to do the IPO, and before that decision to start hiring professionals to help us learn, it was really we wanted to help learning best practices first. We didn't want to start from the beginning. We wanted to hit the ground running. We also found a lot of value because relying on other people, it was actually us admitting that we didn't know everything. We couldn't do everything ourselves, and we really didn't know. At the end of the day, we have a lot of family members working in the business, but we do have a lot of very good people helping us, and we need to rely on them more. So that was the impetus why we hired a lot of people from outside.
For us, it was very strategic. Obviously, raising funds to fuel our growth was the major consideration. So as we were building out our pipeline of developments within the Manila Bay Area, we would always obviously fund it with debt and with equity. And that equity came, at least for us, with selling our land. So as the land keeps going up every year, it was going up 20% year-on-year growth. We just wanted to make sure that we weren't sacrificing our long-term growth with short-term growth. And we felt that at the time, we felt that the equity markets was our best option for fueling our short-term growth.
When you want to take a crack at that?
Being the young one, so either young, the company being public 1-ish years, our stance or our experience with our company, we're a little bit into the culture change or the culture shift between being a privately held company to being a publicly held company. We're very careful to really let our people know that they're there. We're in it together. We're not here to take you out. I think a lot of people may be thinking that, okay, we're public, we have to be professional, we have to take out the ones that aren't, that used to be in the private, they're not really working for us. It's not that way for us. We want to look at our complement of leadership, and whatever we don't have or we need expertise on, then we augment. So that's the way we look at things. We balance it.
Joe, you want to expand on that?
I guess from a privately held company, before we go into public, there were some concerns on the lose control. They somehow lose the effort to grow a business. But to me, I think within that you hire the right people. As I said, trust is number one. Don't go for Harvard London. They are not all good. trust people, they are all good. So the family, the first criteria is trust. Second is don't be afraid to hire high-paid people if they can deliver. In other words, hire the right people, pay them well, because these are people that will deliver and help you out. With the right people, that pressure will be done. Many people are asking me, Joe, how do you manage this conglomerate with the chairman? I said, what should I manage? There are a lot of good people down there. I just smile, I just go around, I just shout around, and then if there is problem, and that executive cannot change, cannot manage, change them. That will make your life.
Thank you very much. Any question from the floor? Maybe we can have one.
We have there, I think it's one.
Follow-through ko lang, Joe. Sinabi mo magagaling na yung 6 C's that follow. Do you see the third generation taking over also?
We are now have the office, as you know, in Noxin building. That's beside your office. Yes. Building. And we own 9 floor out of 44. And on top of that building, we have only office. Where I am considered being the elders, being the referees. And one of my major tasks is how all the way. They are 18. 18. We accept. Not all of 18 would like to be where we are. In fact, to them, sila ulo sa trabaho, marami namang pera, lumot ang order. Okay, if that is the right time for one, so be it. Some of them want to be the writers. Fine. You should not force them to pay the money. Because that will be short term. Long term is you get excellency for people who do the job that they have. So there are some good criteria that we are right now. Not sending them to Harvard, JP Morgan. Wala mangyari. Go down the road. Be a packer. Punta ka dyan sa supermarket, kita mo yung samot configuration, nagpapak. Train them from the beginning so that they move up, they know the whole fortune. They know the whole fortune. That's how we host the third generation.
Thank you. Any questions from the floor?
We are looking at also professional people that they want trust that can help the third
Mr.
generation.
Parungaw.
Right.
Yes, good afternoon. I would like to ask this question of Ms. Lorraine and Mr. Alvin. Your presentations are very good, but my question is, if you had to do it all over again, what would you have done differently?
Beauty queen question. Beauty queen.
Beauty queen daw.
Beauty queen.
Honestly, I don't think we would have done anything differently. Let me explain that. When we listed in 2012, our mentality was that we were listing a manufacturing company. We promoted, syempre, we're in food, we have B2B businesses, but almost all our customers are consumer companies, so we're actually B2B2C. But nevertheless, we thought of ourselves as a manufacturing company, so we listed at 11 times PE. And we were content with that. So lo and behold, the market really liked us. We do work hard to explain to investors, but we're now trading at roughly 20 times PE. I think we got something that we didn't expect. It went a lot better than what we hoped. So, I wouldn't want to jinx it. I don't think I'd want to change anything.
For us, I think we did pretty fairly well. I don't think I would have really changed anything major. Maybe some minor things, maybe some housekeeping things, some little organization, that sort of thing, but nothing really major. I don't think I would have changed anything. The way we did it, the timing, it was, I think overall, we're in a good position right now.
You must understand, and you might share this, there is a certain market peculiarity for IPOs. BSE and SEC requires that your audited statement must not be more than 6 months old. And normally all companies are audited December 31. It was peculiar for Wilcon that they were able to list March or do an IPO in March and list it last day of March because they used the financial statements of September. If they had used December, they would have gone into June. So that's a market peculiarity that those of you who are contemplating of going public must be aware. It's a limitation of the public. And we have, I think, through Phoenix, made already a request that is standing with the SEC to allow the flexibility of that. Although there is certain flexibility that they will allow you to extend. But that's a peculiarity that everyone must know. Why is all the IPOs, done June and onwards? Primarily because of that peculiarity.
Any other question?
Yes, there's somebody here from the media whom I've known for 45 years.
I'm somebody with no name. I'm Tony Lopez of Business Asia. I'd like to ask each of the panelists, what is your greatest motivation in going public? Because being a family corporation or a family enterprise, you'll be motivated by greed. You don't want to share profits. So what is your greatest motivation? They say that if you go public, you have access to free money. Free money. Is that the motivation?
Tony, I don't know. Maybe that's part of my network.
Sorry, I came very late.
Yes, because Mr. C has a vision to be big, and I asked him, when can you accomplish that? He wants to be the biggest bank, the biggest property developer, and the biggest retail. When at that time, we have only 2 department store and one shopping mall and a small Acme savings bank. So I said, can you accomplish this in your lifetime? I said, how can we accomplish it? I said, we go public. We go public to use others people's money. It's not for free, because there is a price for that. Your commitment, your governance, and your sincerity to move forward long term. The major investors are long-term players, hedge fund, etc., short-term players. They don't stay that long, maybe 5 years. Long-term investors, they look at beyond the 5 years. So we must make sure that we have that entrepreneurial spirit also to deliver, so that we will do and we can do what we promised when we go IPO. That's why every year, as I said, we have the investor relations group here that goes around the world at least once a year. Not to raise money, but to tell them what we are doing, where we are doing, what's our plan, and what's the moment, etc. Just imagine this one. If you are a good IPO, you get, in the case of SM, we get 32 pesos for every 1 peso net profit. That's the PE ratio. So every peso you earn, you make profit, you get 30 pesos.
Means you're overpriced.
Overpriced if you're short-term player, but the other long-term player, they see future. So I said, our stock over the 720 FPO went up by 7 times. If you have invested 1 peso at the time of IPO, you are now 7 pesos. So depend on how you look. That's why I suggested investors should define themselves. Are you a short-term player? Are you a long-term player? Because SM is a long-term player.
Thank you and congratulations, John. You're behind making SM number 1 in banking, department stores, malls, property, and many others,
Yes.
including casinos.
I wish we are not operator of casinos. We are land owner
You're
and
the biggest lender to casinos.
yes. I wish you could have said that aside from property, aside from retail, and aside from
I forgot hotels.
that but in the future, the number 1 should be happiness. Happiness. Let's say, Tony, I don't know how old you are.
I'll pay 100 times PE for happiness. I don't have it.
You see, and this is another lesson for you guys. You say, how long you are going to live on this earth? Am I going to this earth?
According to statistics, 68.
No, they say our body is meant to last 120 years. Our whole body, yeah, correct. That the average is about 40% discount from that 120. What Sicily passed away at 96, which is a 20% senior citizen from that 120. So I asked you, Tony, how long do you plan to live?
Maybe double 60 because you're now 60.
Me, I want to live just like Sicily, 20 years. But it's not a question of how many years you are going to live. It's really a question of how many years of quality life you live on this earth. That matters. What's the use if you live 100 years old or you are always on the bed? This is study. 50% of how long you are going to live on this earth depends on our genes. If your father, mother died of heart attack at the age of 60, 50% chances is you die of heart ailment at the age of 60. The other 50% depends on how you live. Food that you take, the pressure that you handle, the way you handle the pressure. But the most important factor on that is how happy you are on this earth. If you are a happy person, if you are a religious person, without you knowing it, your system is just growing easily. But if you are not happy, your system, over time, you have cancer, you have high blood, diabetes, all these things. So I wish that we could be number 1 happy. We are now one of the big, good house to employ according to, I don't know what study is that. I wish there ought to be one criteria, the happiest company to work with SM.
Thank you,
Dr. Shaw. Yeah, can we get a quick response from the Ma'am Lorraine and Sir for the same question?
Anything you can add after happiness?
Actually, for us, one big motivator for listing, it was simply fear. Let me explain that. So earlier, Lorraine and I shared about that third generation curse, and we kind of knew as a family that we needed to do something different. If not, we would fall on the same curse. So, improving governance within the family business, was the best thing we thought of doing. So, we started with ISO certification. We then hired Pricewaterhouse as our auditor. We started hiring professionals to work with other companies to help us learn best practices. And then finally, doing the IPO, we felt was another way to improve corporate governance within the business, because as a listed firm, you need to have transparency, the best directors, and so forth. So that was actually our primary motivation. It wasn't so much access to capital. It was really how we could change and morph ourselves into a form that would survive the intergenerational succession.
Thank you, Ma'am Lorraine.
We're very similar, Alvin and I. What Mr. Seo said a while ago about the third generation, that's also something that I think about. Although our third generation is very young, I know and I realize that not everybody will want to work in the business. And so going public forces us the same, having corporate governance, to also have an infrastructure or a structure where if you don't want to, there's an exit. But if you want to, there's a way to go in. So I think that's an advantage for going public.
Just a clarification of what Tony mentioned. It's not really, when you go IPO, your process is not really free money, because you are now
You have to pay
obligated.
dividends.
You have to pay dividends. And that one
comply
is,
with very onerous disclosure requirements.
no, but just the
To employ an
dividends,
entire
that
bureau.
is almost equivalent now to the cost of money. If you're paying 6% per annum annual dividend, that's already beyond about the cost of money. That's why I have,
Joshua is paying much higher than cost of money.
I know.
Because he's selling happiness.
yeah, that one I cannot quantify. But and Francisco, there's a BDO will always buy any long-term yielding paper better than 4%.
Anyway,
So
but,
6.
anyway, but here is a third generation.
You're third
You
generation.
came
You're third generation.
yeah, it's third generation.
Yeah, I know his father. They used to work
I
together
know
in
also
the
his
70s.
father.
Oh, okay.
And they came to IPO very late, and it took courage for them to do an IPO in a very difficult environment. But I think they don't regret it. Di ba, Bad?
Thank you. We're running short of time.
But you did not answer my question.
We have, go
Yeah,
ahead.
so motivation, right? I mean, similar to what Lorraine and Alan said. At least for us, it was actually third generation. Then this position, we were actually convincing our chairman, which is my father, for a simple reason that we were always thinking about loss opportunity. What I mean by saying that, every time we build a building, we were always expecting it's going to take this long to lease it out. But it's always, right before it finishes, it's fully leased out. It happened 3 times already. We keep increasing the size of the buildings. And the way we funded it was that we would sell, apart from debt, was we would sell land. And we always would say, oh, the land that we had in 2006, from let's say 30,000 pesos per square meter, was in 2016 already at 250,000 pesos per square meter. So we're giving up that land appreciation just to build our recurring income projects. And that's why for us, we wanted to make sure that that land bank, which is very prime, the 3 rules of real estate is always location, location, location. And we didn't want to give up that future land bank for our pipeline projects to fund our present debt.
Thank you. Just very quickly, because we're running short of time, number of questions from the floor. Where do you see your company 10 years from now or 20 years from now? Can I get a quick answer from?
Yeah, for us from Cebu Landmasters, we really want to establish ourselves very strongly in the Visayas and Mindanao areas. As you know, there's so much potential for growth. It's a region that is still underserved, and that's why we went IPO, because we wanted to make our fellow Vismin friends proud. And we believe in that region, and we're gonna keep investing in that region that's why I hope Sharephil can share their, inspire the many successful companies in this SMIN. There are so many there who are, have the high potential for IPO, right? Right, Sir Ed? And so that's where we see Cebu Landmasters being very busy in that region.
Just a comment, maybe that's a good cue for Evelyn and Francis Lane and Mr. Baronga to maybe hold a Sharephil Summit in Cebu or Davao. Davao.
For Wilcon, we feel that we want to be further intertwined in the Filipino life of when you want to renovate or build a home. We want to be present, not just physically, online, omni-channel, everywhere, all over the Philippines. That if you want to do something with your home or your space, you think of Wilcon, and these are the ways you can reach us. So that's what we want.
Well, 5 years ago, when I meet every investor, and they ask the same question, where is SM going 5 years from now? That was 5 years ago. I say SM will be double of what we are 5 years ago. And now we are more than double of what we are 5 years ago. Now, if you ask me the same question, I kind of hesitant to predict because word has now changed a lot. You have now technology coming in. As I said, you will be unemployed 5 years from now. I don't know. You got all this noise in the world, fighting each other, it's country fighting each other, like wars, etc. Here in the Philippines, I don't know. Where are we going? We have now talking about changing the form of government, etc. And it's understood. So I would say we will maintain our growth with caution.
Thank you. We have too many questions suddenly. Yeah, we'll just take 2 more questions.
I understand it's raining outside, so my next meeting is 7. We can be here until 6. Cora?
I have to ask this question. Can you please comment on the issue of gender equality in your organizations? I can see that except for Loren, you're only talking to gentlemen. Is there any discrimination or do you have any active role in ensuring that more women are given?
I think as our Cora, you are directors, company all of time. But the whole SM group, we have almost 120,000 regular employees. You add the janitor, guards, all the things which are done by the agency, we are about 120,000. Believe it or not, 62% of that is female. Is that equality to you? Maybe it's not good, but 62% of our staff are ladies. Senior people, it goes down to 25%. This is natural because girls get married, you don't want more responsibility. That is something that maybe Sharephil will teach the lady members how to be active, more aggressive activity. But for family, is first.
Thank you. Yeah, just quick.
Quickly, how do you look at technology as an investment? Meaning to say, when it comes to the financial industry, there's already bitcoins and all that, and other virtual currencies. So how do you look at this point of view in the next 5 to 10 years when it comes to technology? Thank you.
Anyone?
Well, technology has always been a part of our company's investment investment strategy. We have a lot of IT investments, so we have our ERP, our e-commerce. I think it's a part of who we are and how we operate. We cannot operate without technology. We have nationwide 44 stores. There's no way we can manage all of that without IT. So we're continuously investing in technology.
For us, okay, so I'm an IT grad and I still keep up to date. In fact, right now I actually just started learning to program in Python. I just started an online course. But anyway, I see technology as a very good tool to get where you want to go. But at the end of the day, that's all it is. It's just a tool, it's not the be all and end all. We have our own business goals and so forth, and we're just going to be a user of technology.
Thank you. Just one last question and we have to wrap up, I'm sorry.
Alex Escucha from China. I have a question about how you really address the issue of opening up for the transparency. I couldn't share how we would have done our IPO differently because we were listed in September 1927, 1 month after the Manila Stock Exchange was opened. But in our case, the trigger was when we issued floating rate CDs in 1996 and 97, and the demands of the foreign banks for very detailed, especially the German banks, about very detailed information was the trigger, plus the initiation of the Standard & Poor's rating report. In other words, the IPO is not the only threshold event that will trigger that transparency. And the consequence of that is there are debates within your management team or within the family where certain areas are taboo or sensitive. But if you open up like that, it forces you, the market benchmarks you against this, and therefore we have to be transparent about this. What were those particular sensitive areas that were too sensitive before opening up, and whether there were other trigger events prior to the IPO that started that opening up transparency process? Thank you.
Just for us, I don't think there was any major trigger, but I think just for our generation, we just wanted to be better. And that entails getting the information and getting the data to be able to actively change. So without that transparency, that you would say everything from our numbers, obviously incomes, having metrics to measure our performance, it's hard to get better. I think just to marry this with the next question a while ago. So even like right now, we invested in a social software platform to see real-time information about our occupancies, all the deals that are happening within our buildings, from office leases. If I wanted to pull down what exact rate my lessee is at the 6th floor of Pasiano, I can pull that down right now without having to check a contract or having to call you. That's something that we see moving forward that we will be able to offer as a way for our investors to be able to get transparent and accurate data about the company.
Just quickly. Yes. We're running late. No, go ahead, please.
I think there are a lot of disclosures that investors will ask for, exchanges will require, but at the end of the day, what makes a company tick and what I see, how we do things, how well we do things, these aren't disclosed in disclosure. They're not financial numbers, they're not formulas, they're not our list of suppliers. It's much more than that. So I'm not too worried about all of these disclosure requirements. At the end of the day, it's all a matter of compliance. And everyone is doing it anyway. So there's no real loss of advantage. But a lot of what makes a business really tick, that the core competencies, these are the true secrets of what makes a company run. At the end of the day, these are still secrets you keep within yourself.
Anyway, just quick answers. Can we get from Lorraine?
For our industry, we found that there's really no secret. The biggest home improvement company is public. It's Home Depot. And everything is listed and everything is on their website. So there is no really secret for our industry. Perhaps it could be our product offering, but then so do other companies in Asia, in the US. So there's really no secret. It's really a matter of how you deliver to the customer. And as Mr. CEO said, we have to be customer focused. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Joe.
One, I guess, there is that concern before we went into IPO. But over the years, we have learned that there is no secret in business, especially in the Philippines. Which is Mr. Atlantic. But important thing is really leadership. As long as you have a good leader in that corporation, it takes down to all the levels in the organization. If we have a leader who is not on the knockout, then the people down below will follow. But if you have a leader that's mananakaw, the people down below will also be mananakaw. So we're not afraid. It's good to have competition.
Thank you. Just one last.
Yes, so for us, the openness was easy because of our founders' values. No? The I in CLI is integrity, and I believe he brought that to company, and all these requirements, he's an open book. And even before we decided to IPO, I think 5 years before we decided to IPO, we were audited by a top firm already. So it was an easy transition for us.
Thank you. I think we have to end the question. We have to thank all of you, first of all. Let's give them a big hand, please.
Hi, I'm pitching in for Rex as well as Drive to Tagaytay for an important meeting. So, I'd like to thank the speakers and the reactors, and I'd like to call in our chairperson, Ma'am Evelyn, and our president, Francis, to give the token of appreciation to our panel. Ma'am Evelyn, Francis.
Thank you very much for your attention. As an appreciation of your significant role in the success of the 2018 Sharephil Summit, please accept this OK sculpture from all of us here at Sharephil. OK. Meticulously well done by one of the country's most interesting sculptors, Mr. Wilcon. This sculptural piece is a beautiful combination of close and compact metal sheets forming a well-known hand gesture where the index finger connects to the thumb to create an open circle holding the rest of the fingers straight
and relaxed in the air. Generally, a symbol denoting approval and agreement, Sharephil would like to give this three-dimensional art of peace to you as our way of saying, a job well done, and we gratefully recognize your significant contribution and support to our young organization. Once again, a grateful thank you and kudos. May you meet with more successes and support.
Thank you, Ms. Kinchinkavan, Mr. Lau, and Mr. Shaw. Thank you also to Mr. Sabarano, Wenceslao, and Mr. Ed Francisco, and of course to